Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you all doing this evening? My name
Ooh.
is Cassandra Washington. I am the CEO of Life Enhancement and Development Enterprises, and I have something so awesome and great for you all this evening. As you know, this Friday will be the beginning of our Life Enhancement and Development Empowerment Summit. And we will be kicking it off with an empowerment roundtable. Yes, indeed, we have a very exciting discussion that's going to occur this Friday night, October 15th, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. You know, we're all about what we can do to make life more better and enhance your life and help you to develop and grow. And so this summit is going to be focused on renewing your mind, developing in your thinking where relationships are concerned. And so Friday night, we want to kick it off with an empowerment roundtable discussion on the meeting of the minds, a man's and woman's point of view. And hosting that roundtable discussion is going to be Lady Samantha Milton from Greenwood, Mississippi, and Mr. Melvin Anderson from Maryland. Say good evening to the people.
Hello,
Good evening,
people.
everybody.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to have a great discussion. We just want you to know what we're going to be uh, focusing on Friday night. As I stated earlier, we're going to be talking about our thinking as where relationships are concerned. And that discussion, the meeting of the minds, a man's and woman's point of view, is going to be talking about the issues where men and women in relationships may differ and have a different perspective. How men and women think when it comes to marriage, how men and women think when it comes to communication, how men and women think when it comes to dating. And of course, tonight we want to focus a little bit on that particular area when it comes to dating. How do men think? What do women think? It's going to be interesting. So we're going to turn it over to Lady Samantha Milton and Mr. Melvin Anderson Jr. to introduce their panelists for tonight and to facilitate that discussion. I'll be back.
Thank you, Cassandra. All right, we have waiting to come in is Mrs. Arika Watkins, a high school teacher from Greenwood, Mississippi. Hi, Arika. Unmute yourself. All
Hello.
right. Arika is a current divorcee recently. We have Michelle Calhoun, who is a high school teacher from Memphis, Tennessee. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, everyone.
All right. We have Cameron Daniels, who's an engineer in New Orleans, Louisiana. Hello, Cameron.
Hey, how is everybody doing?
All right. And I am your host, Samantha Milton. I'm sorry, co-host Samantha Milton. And we also have Melvin Anderson Jr., who is a co-host who is from Maryland. All right, Pastor Pete, I so fondly call him. He's my cousin. Today is his birthday, and we're so happy that he just stepped in for a few minutes to share with us on today. So we're going to jump right in, ladies and gentlemen. You know, today we're talking about dating ain't what it used to be. So Minister Cassandra said that someone recently told her dating is like pee in the pool. Well, I'd never heard of that before, and I was like, oh my God, pee in the pool? I can remember growing up, I didn't want to be in the pool if somebody peed in it because it was nasty. Nasty. So we're going to jump right in, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a divorcee, and we also have married people, and we also have single. So we want you to jump in where you fit in. So the first question would be, if and when, how do you feel about merging finances together if you're married? Anybody can jump in. I'm going to take Cameron first since he's single.
Okay. Uh, so I was actually when I was moving to New Orleans, I was actually considering moving with someone else, and we ended up not moving together. But something that we actually discussed, and we were not married. We are not married. We're not married at the time. But something that we had discussed was, how we handle finances in terms of paying rent, paying for bills, and paying for food, groceries, things of that nature. And although there's usually something that people don't discuss until it's time to get married and stuff like that. If you're going to be living with somebody and you're engaged or considering marrying that person, I think that's something that should probably be discussed before marriage, because one, you need to know. I mean, something that I've learned from my parents and from other people that I know that are married. You need to know what kind of baggage people are bringing into a relationship, and you need to know what. I mean, not necessarily saying you don't want to marry somebody if they have a lot of debt, but I mean, that may be something you want to consider. And from what I understand from studies that have been done, I don't credit me on this, but I have seen that marriage is the number one reason. I mean, finances are the number one reason for divorce. So I definitely think that's something that should be discussed before marriage. It's definitely when you're considering getting engaged or seriously dating and living together.
All right. Pastor Pete, talk about when you counsel couples, what do you find that couples talk about when it comes to finances when you're counseling them? You're on mute. We can't hear you, Pastor.
She muted me.
There you go.
All right. One of the first questions I ask when we get to this portion, finances, it's not about, to me, how much one makes over the other, but I always ask, how many accounts should a couple have? And so when we start to have that discussion, you discover that what happens in a lot of relationships is they do their own thing with their money until it's time to make a joint purchase. And when they do that, people are finding that one or the other, the Beacon score, the FICO score, is not what they think it is. So the suggestion is you should have at least 3 accounts: a joint savings account, and then your individual accounts. But as it pertains to your salaries, you should have a discussion about what you're going to put in the joint savings account each pay period, each month. And then what types of purchases you can make without talking to the other. And in terms of the amount, like if there's a $150 limit, I can do whatever I want to with $150. But after that, there's a discussion. That doesn't mean that somebody has the right to say yes or no. That just means there's a discussion.
All right, Pastor. All right. So with that being said, if you do want to combine income, what financial goals would you be interested in working on together with a double income? So I'm going to let Arika answer that.
Well, first to elaborate on what you all were saying about the first question, Pastor, that would be the idea. But for me, being in and out of that relationship, my past relationship, is always, to me, I see now you have to know the type of spirit and giving, that it takes it's a process even before getting to know whether or not this person is willing to share your part, into the relationship. And just like Cameron said before, it takes a lot to get to know these people, and knowing how you deal with finances. You may be a millionaire, but if I'm not willing to share with you, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm selfish, then that's going to play a key role in me knowing whether or not, we can move further, or our finances will even be able to be joined, or if we need to be in this relationship at all, period. And to answer your questions, things that I think would be important is things that are going to be, insurance is majors. A lot of people overlook that. Insurance is something that I think all couples should invest in, because you find oftentimes I saw where one of the superstars, one of the comedians, he passed away, and people were trying to gift his wife because he didn't even have insurance. That's key to me. He didn't have any insurance, and he's a well-known person, in the industry, but you didn't have any type of burial insurance. So I think getting the insurance and knowing how you will secure the person that you're with for, for whoever is left behind. I think that's key.
Good answer, Erika. And those two questions were from Pastor Pete. Now, this one is gonna be like pee in a pool. I'm gonna see how y'all gonna answer this one. Who should be the initiator in a relationship? Like if you're just meeting, you dating, or you've been together for a while, on any aspect in a relationship. And I want everybody to answer this one, but I want Michelle to go first.
Wow. Well, so let me first say that I am very old school and I am a very traditional person. But now, let me just answer the question and then I'll elaborate. I
Okay.
believe that my old person would say that the man should do all of the initiating. But I know that times have changed now, and so it's a shared process now, and so um, I think it works both ways. I believe in the chase. I just believe in um, restraining myself to allow that man to know what he wants to chase after. And I'm just so old school. I don't think I could walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, would you like to go out on a date with me?" Or, "Hey, can I get your number?" Or "Would you like my number?" I'm just old school, and I don't think I could do it.
Okay. Well, Cameron, I know
Mhm.
that you're so popular. You recently a college graduate twice, and I know you're a Q dog, and so I know the women are pretty much after you, Cam. So who you think?
Okay.
I know some women have initiated towards you first,
So, so yeah, definitely, I can say that. I mean, I think most men can say that they've had some women that have, initiated with them and have, gone after them and been the more of the, I guess, aggressor. Kind of has a negative connotation to it, but been the aggressor in a relationship. But I can definitely say, I mean, from my experience, I think that a lot of guys see that and they say, "Oh man, I don't want no girl who does that for me." But I can say for myself that I've dealt with women, and that's not necessarily. I mean, those relationships don't have any more of a chance of failing than any other kind of relationship. So definitely, I won't say that that is a negative way to go about it. I think it depends on your personality. If you're that type of girl, then I don't think that it is. I don't think it is negative that is how you are and that's how you respond. But my opinion on the question, who should be the initiator in a relationship? I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think it comes down to I think a man should be an initiator because something that I read recently on it was some social media platform, but something that I read recently was like, a man gives to a woman and a woman multiplies what a woman gives him. So I mean, you go out if a man goes out. I mean, just to give some examples, a man goes out. He gives a woman he buys a house. A woman makes it a home. A man gives a woman sperm. She makes a child. It's just things of that nature. I mean, I know that may be a little bit much, but it's just, I just definitely think that if a man gives a woman an opportunity to feel like she can be, what's the word I'm looking for? That she can be vulnerable and that she can be that person for you that is willing to give it, that she's willing to give everything to, then I think that you will enjoy long and happy relationships. I
okay.
definitely think that a man should be an initiator in most aspects, but there's some, as Ms. Calhoun said, that should not be the case.
Okay, y'all, look, we having a little bit of feedback. So if any of you have on extra devices, could you turn them off? Because it's a little feedback and it's kind of hard for our audience to hear. If any other devices are on, please turn them off. All right. When dating, why do men treat women as queens, but after the fact, they take women for granted? So I'm going to ask you, Pastor Pete, if you can answer that one, because I know you're a divorcee and um you've been around the block a few times. So
keep giving me the tough questions, and then they get to come behind me. So, but I'll answer the question as best I can. I have to say this, and I'm not being disrespectful. When you say, why does a man treat a woman like a queen, and then after the fact does not? Many times in counseling, it's been discovered during the discussion, not in my putting a label on it, that the person that the woman has selected has not proven to be a man. So that particular individual doesn't know how to treat the woman like a queen. Secondarily, in counseling, what I've noted, when a woman realizes that she can command more than she ever demands, then that's when her queenship stands out. When a woman or a man begins to demand of one another, it changes the trajectory of the relationship. It interferes with and impedes the growth. So when a woman realizes that she is in fact a queen, she commands love, she commands respect, she commands to be treated with dignity by the way she conducts herself. Yeah. But what you find nowadays at 56 is sometimes the way that a woman describes herself and then her behavior, they are antithetical.
All right, Pastor P. That was very good. So listen, since this is the age of social media, what do all of you think about going on dating sites? Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad, but just your personal opinion on dating sites, or would you use a dating site, or do you think it's going too far? What is your take on uh, finding a mate on a dating site? Arika?
I'm not fond of dating sites. I don't know. When it comes to a dating site, I'm one of those in-person people. So, dating sites have been proven to be, I have really good friends who married off of dating sites. So I won't just throw them, kick them to the curb, altogether. But me personally, I don't think that it really tells you who a person really is, because my mind, I think too much. So I would say, if you're on here, not only are you talking to me, you might be talking to somebody else. You trying to feel all us out at the same time. So, and I'll pass. So that's my opinion.
You want to see him in real life. All
I
right,
need
Lady
to see you
Michelle.
up front, and I need to know, if you're dating me, if you're pursuing me, that you're not pursuing Jane and Jill and Joan too. So that means, because I think on the dating sites, like my students say, Miss Watkins, they hit like, if they like you and then they call you, because my students are definitely trying to set me up with somebody. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm real good. That's funny to me. Oh, Miss Watkins, you got to find somebody. They got plenty of dating sites. All you got to do is say whether or not you like them or not. We'll pass.
Okay, Michelle.
I agree totally wholeheartedly with what Arika has said. Because I think about, I can say what I want to say about myself. I can tell you, listen, I'm this, that, and the other. And I can even send you fake pictures of myself. So I just believe in that face-to-face conversation, because some things have to be said in person and not, I'm not going to say that I'm kicking against dating sites. I'm just going to say that now I'm guilty. I've tried a couple or two in a couple or three in the past. But then I always got eerie feelings about it. And so I didn't give myself the chance to see, because I had an influx of people texting me, sending me messages, and trying to get to know me. And then it kind of it takes away from my old self, my old mentality, and the way that I was brought up. I just couldn't do it. I don't think I want to meet anyone like that, unless now the spirit will tell you, if we're led by God's spirit, God will let us know that this is not something that's going to be prosperous for you. This is not something that I need you in. And so I'm just going to do like God says. I'm going to sit back and wait. He may even show up at my door and say, I'm here to drop off your package, or I might go to church one Sunday and see this unfamiliar face. He approaches me and so no, I'll pass.
All right, Cameron, tell us what you young bloods believe in.
Okay, yeah. So I was just getting ready to say that I think that my view may be a little different, and Ms. Calhoun said from jump that she's old school, and I think that most of our panelists are probably a little bit more old school than I am. But I can agree with Miss Erica,
Arika.
Arika. I'm sorry. I can agree with Miss Arika that I have friends who have been in long-term relationships that started on dating sites and stuff like that. But I actually agree with them. I'm not a dating site type of person. I'll meet somebody on social media, like maybe, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, something like that. But actually, in terms of meeting someone on a site that's specifically for dating, that's just not who I am. I've never had any accounts on any of those, so I can't speak to it. But I also don't knock people who do it, but it's just my personal opinion on it. It's not something that's for me.
All right, Carol Washington chimed in and said she believes it's just it's an individual thing, so the shoe don't fit for everybody. Well, y'all know I've been married 27 years, so the only thing I do is get on Facebook and see what's going on. What about you, Pastor Pete? You on mute?
Did she unmute me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, So I speak first from the perspective of just an observer. I was in the military for 20 plus years, and I've been here now 20 years. And I know people who have gone into the Ebony Ivory chat room and their relationships have lasted forever. I know people who have gone into other rooms and they go on a lot of dates, but it doesn't go anywhere. For me personally, last year, I was coaxed into signing up for one, and I only lasted 2 months, and I never contacted anybody. I'm like everyone else. I kind of like to meet you and move by God's spirit. So it's not for me.
It's not for you, Pastor Pete.
Not for me.
All right, this is a good one for y'all. So for the ones of you who are on the dating scene, how do you feel about, if you on a date, how do you feel about paying for the food or going on a trip or entertainment? How do you feel about paying for the opposite sex? All right, Michelle. You knew I was going to get you first.
Wow, really, Sam? Actually, I don't have a problem with it. I used to be afraid because I used to have the mindset, the concept that whatever you start doing, then that they're going to, the expectation is that you will continue. So if you can't finish it, don't start it. But and again, it goes to that person. It just depends on the individuals. And I don't think I would do it on the first date. I don't think I would do it on the first date, because then I feel like I would be sending a message that I don't have a problem with taking care of this bill, and along with, and I don't mean to sound bashing the male species, but a man may feel like, well, shoot, if she paid on the very first night, then she may be willing to do some other things. She may, he might try to ease something else in. Hey, I like nice gifts and stuff, and but I don't want to be that initiator in terms of paying, because I don't want to put myself into a whole nother way of living, because the second date, yeah, or even on that first date, if he says, let's split the tab, or I may say, let's split this tab, let's split it, because I want him to know I'm not a gold digger. I'm not out for what I can get from you. I can take care of myself, but hey, just depends on the individual.
All right, Cameron. Wait a minute, you're on mute.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
We hear you now.
Okay, cool. But I'll go back to what Ms. Calhoun said. I definitely agree that on that first date, no, I don't necessarily agree. On that first date, I actually typically think that it's kind of a guy's responsibility, because 9 times out of 10, you ask the girl on a date. So, don't ask somebody on a date that you can't afford to pay for. That's just my opinion on it. But I personally just feel like I think that once you're at the dating stage and you're getting to know somebody, then a guy go ahead and does that. And I mean, once a girl starts to like you, I think that she begins to want to do stuff for you. So I don't think you'll even have to ask. So once you're dating somebody and you're trying to get to know somebody, sure. First couple of dates, you handle it, and maybe you pay the bill, she pays the tip or something like that. But once y'all get deeper into a relationship, and this kind of goes back to our finance conversation, if somebody feels like there's no way that y'all can be in a relationship together and one person is completely paying for all the meals and everything else, unless this person just has an exponentially more amount of money than the other person. But I definitely think that on the first couple of dates, yeah, sure, a guy should be paying for that. But once y'all get deeper into the relationship, I think it should be something that should be discussed, and something that y'all should not necessarily be going 50-50 on, but maybe, 75-25 or something of that extent, just so that it should be proportional to the amount of money you make. That's how I feel.
Okay. Pastor Pete, I think you might feel like me, old school. So like I told y'all, I've been married 27 years. So if Mr. Milton wasn't paying, I wasn't going. Okay. Pastor, they got you on mute again.
My cousin's going to be very shocked. I do think that the initial date, the initial date, of course, I'm going to take care of that because I'm a gentleman. But if we began the process of dating, and let's just say there's 2 things. If our finances are equal, I don't think I should spend my extracurricular money on the dates and you spend any. I would, and then I can't put a proportion on it, but if I pay for 5, you can pay for 1. If I'm choosing someone who doesn't make what I make, I'm not expecting you to spend what I spend, but you can cook a meal. So that's the only expectation I would have. But here's what happens most of the time. If you don't expect that I'm going to pay for everything, I generally will pay for everything.
All right.
Again, you're demanding instead of commanding, then I'm going to switch it up.
All right then, Pastor. All right, Arika.
Pastor P, I'm glad you said what you said, because I was going to say something similar to the fact that, I think that's a part of the dating process to even see if the woman can cook. So, I may initiate a date out, but the next one, I need you to initiate the kitchen. That, hey, you come over and let me cook. Let's go on a date, but this time we're going to let you cook. So that lets you know right then and there whether or not you're about to get someone who's actually can cook, or y'all going to be going out a whole lot, quite a bit. So, y'all going to be at, McDonald's quite a bit. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I'm one of those people that, I got to show you that I know how to cook. So that part of, like I said, I think too much when it comes to that, because I'm wanting you to know, listen, I can cook. If times get hard and you can't take me out, I can go in the kitchen and we can put the pots together and we're going to make it happen.
Amen.
All right, y'all.
Amen.
This is dating ain't what it used to be. So we're going to close out in the bang on our final question. And it's some of this new age stuff, okay? What do y'all feel about sex on the first date? And I'll take you, Cameron, because you the young buck of the troop.
I had a feeling that I was going to have to be the first person to answer this question when you asked it. I mean, I am like I've said, us going through my recurring theme throughout this episode, whatever these are considered to be. But I mean, I'm a very, very liberal, very open person. I don't think it is something that should be expected. It's very rare that it's something. It's very rare that it's something that I have experienced. But I will say that if it's something that both parties mutually want to do, and if it's something both parties mutually want to do, I don't see why not. And also, I'll say this: a lot of people see that happen, and they think, "Oh, well, this person is going to think this of me if we do this." But my whole thing about it is that my viewpoint has never changed on a person in the amount of time that it took us to do that. So if I met you and the first time we did something, and the first time that we met we did something, it didn't make me think less of you. And if we waited a couple of months after I met you and I still had to wait, and it didn't make me like you more that I had to wait. So I'll just say that it's just something that if both parties consent to it and both of y'all decide this one, I'm not against it or for it. It's whatever y'all decide and whatever the vibe is on that date.
All right, Arika.
Well, I'm like you, Cameron, because I really think that it's between the people, because I maybe have talked to you on the phone. A lot of people, I know me, for instance, I need to talk to you a lot before I even meet you. I'm just gonna be honest, because I got to feel your vibes. I got to feel the type of person you are. You know, you might get mad. You know, like I said, I'm very technical. I got to know if you like somebody smacking in your ear. I'm real technical. So, you know, I'm serious. You know, I'm a chew a cookie. If you say, oh, you smacking. Okay, I know you don't like me smacking. So before we even get to that part, I really feel like you got to know a person. And once you get together, if that vibe is there and you've created that, then I'm not against it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm very, very transparent. I'm not against that, you know. So a lot of people will say, you know, oh, that makes you easy. But if you're a mature adult and you all have, you know, have decided upon this, you know, beforehand, then, you know, it's between you adult. You know the consequences afterwards. You got to deal with it.
All right, Michelle.
Girl, I'm sitting here when you asked the question, my eyes popped. I'm sitting
It's
here
PP
thinking
in
to
the pool,
myself,
baby. PP in the pool.
oh my goodness. I'm like Simon Cowell. Cowell, it's a no for me. I'm sorry. I still believe in because of course I practice, you know, celibacy. And so it's a no for me, because now I hear Cameron saying that his feelings are not going to change one way or the other. But, you know, I've been placed in that type of position. And I would feel some kind of way if his expectation was sex on the first date. I would feel some kind of way. And I'm sorry, I probably wouldn't be the person that I would choose to go on a date with. And maybe that's why I hadn't gone on a date in 20 years. I don't know. But it's a no for me. I'm sorry. Oh my good. I want to save myself for marriage, even though I have a 32-year-old.
All right, Michelle, we get it, baby. It's a big no for you, Michelle.
Well, and to Miss Calhoun you know, to just kind of respond to which I definitely wasn't saying that it was something that I expected or something that, you know, that I thought should be an expectation. Right. But if that is what both people wanted, that's what I was thinking. Not necessarily saying that either party expected, but yeah, I can feel where you're coming from as well.
Cameron, you're old school and you don't even know it.
All right, Pastor P, what's your opinion? You're on mute. Oh, there you go.
3 statements. Number 1 goes back to our very first conversation. It takes people a while to talk about finances. So if you get the sex on the first date and the sex is good, and then you began a sexual relationship before you get to know one another, a lot of times it's the sex that's binding the relationship and not the getting to know one another. Secondarily, when you read, and I'm not trying to get preachy, but when you read the book of Esther and when you read the book of Ruth, what Boaz liked about Ruth was the fact she followed her mother-in-law's advice and she didn't show up with her trick bag. Same thing with Esther. When Esther was going to be the queen out of hundreds of ladies, the ladies wanted to bring their special bag when they went before the king. What I'm saying is, a man of my age, I'm not speaking, I like what Cameron speaks for his age group, I'm speaking for my age. If you come out of your trick bag too fast, I'm going to shut down. And most of my friends are going to do the same thing, or put you on a list where you will be a friend with benefits, but not consideration for a wife.
All right, Pastor P. You gave us the good answers. Look, y'all, I have truly, truly enjoyed you all on dating ain't what it used to be. And we all know we could go on and on and on. We appreciate you, Arika Watkins, high school teacher, Greenwood, Mississippi. Michelle Calhoun, high school teacher from Memphis, Tennessee. Cameron Daniels, engineer, New Orleans. And also Melvin Anderson, pastor and a government worker in Maryland. And we want y'all to tune in with us on Friday, where we're going to have, what I tell y'all, meeting of the minds, a man's and a woman's point of view. We're going to have Sherry Brown from Louisiana, Iris Mabry from D.C., Sankirk Bailey from Texas, Tarek Peterson from Georgia, James Lehman from Texas, and Jerry Carter from Greenwood, Mississippi. And we want you all to join in, because I already know from 7 to 8:30, Facebook on L.E.A.D is the place for y'all to be. Life enhancement and development. And we appreciate you guys for coming in. I'm turning it over to Cassandra Washington. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We can't hear you, Cassandra. There
My
you go.
mic is muted. Okay.
Okay.
You all have to come back on Friday evening. It starts at 7 o'clock. I was making comments too. Especially that one about the dating site. You know, that's the going thing now. But as they was talking about this dating pool so murky, I don't know if I want to take a chance on a dating site. So this was a wonderful, wonderful discussion, and I know it's just gonna get even hotter on Friday night. So you got to come. You all got to come back, join in. We're gonna kick it off at 7 o'clock p.m. sharp. And Lady Samantha Milton and Pastor Melvin Anderson Jr. will be back to facilitate that discussion. And look, if you have a question or you want to make a comment, we're gonna put the link in the comment section, so you can come up and ask Lady Samantha and Pastor Melvin Anderson and the others that will be serving on the panel. If you want to ask them a question or you want to make a comment, we're gonna put the link in the comment section for you to pop in. So it's gonna be hot and it's gonna be insightful. It's gonna be good. So we invite you to come on back October 15th, 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We had a wonderful time, and we hope to see you on Friday. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.